Welcome to our Middle East Briefing program. Today, we have some exciting updates starting with Starbucks, where CEO Brian Nichol has announced a game-changing increase in parental leave, doubling the time off for new parents. This move comes as part of their initiative to enhance employee benefits and create a better workplace environment. Next up, we have news from Google, as they appoint Debbie Weinstein as the new president for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. With a focus on driving AI-powered growth, Weinstein's leadership comes at a crucial time as Google continues to innovate with its generative AI products, aiming to make a significant impact across diverse regions. Lastly, we dive into the complexities of international relations as China has launched an antitrust investigation into Nvidia, raising eyebrows about its implications amidst rising tensions with the US. This move suggests a potential warning rather than punishment, especially as local competition in China intensifies. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. The Independent reports that Starbucks has announced a significant change to its parental leave policy, doubling the amount of paid leave for its employees. CEO Brian Nichol revealed this decision was influenced by an email from a partner who expressed the need for longer leave. Starting March 2025, birth parents will receive up to 18 weeks of fully paid leave, while non-birth parents will receive up to 12 weeks. This initiative is part of Starbucks' Back to Starbucks plan, aiming to create the best retail job environment and enhance the experience for both employees and customers. Nichol emphasized the importance of taking action on feedback from partners, showcasing a commitment to improving workplace culture and employee satisfaction. In a significant leadership move, Google has appointed Debbie Weinstein as president for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, EMEA. Previously the vice president and managing director for the UK and Ireland, Weinstein aims to harness AI-powered growth across the diverse EMEA region. With Google launching various generative AI products, including its assistant Gemini, Weinstein's focus will be on supporting users, businesses, and governments to unlock the potential of AI. The tech giant employs over 29,000 people in EMEA, working on major products like the search engine and Android, highlighting the importance of this leadership transition during a pivotal time for technology. The South China Morning Post discusses China's recent antitrust investigation into Nvidia, a move that raises questions about Beijing's stance towards US companies. This probe targets Nvidia's 2019 acquisition of Mellanox Technologies and serves as a potential warning rather than a punitive measure. As tensions escalate between the US and China over technology and trade, Nvidia could face significant fines if found in violation of Chinese antitrust laws. The timing of this investigation coincides with the Biden administration's tightening of export restrictions, suggesting a strategic response from China as it navigates its relationship with Nvidia, a company with deep ties to the Chinese market. Despite these tensions, Nvidia remains committed to its operations in China, even as domestic competitors close the performance gap. The Independent reports that as Joe Biden's presidency nears its end, Donald Trump is poised to reinstate a hardline approach to U.S. Iran policy, reminiscent of his first term. Discussions surrounding Maximum Pressure 2.0 aim to cut off Iran's nuclear ambitions and diminish its influence in the Middle East by targeting groups like the Houthis and Hezbollah. This aggressive stance is supported by various senators, including Ted Cruz, who emphasizes the necessity of defeating Hamas to undermine Iran's regional power. The incoming administration is expected to employ renewed sanctions and possibly even military action against Iranian facilities, as Trump seeks to restore a strong U.S. presence in the region. In a related development, the Associated Press highlights the arrest of two individuals, one a dual Iranian-American citizen, for exporting sensitive technology to Iran that was linked to a deadly drone attack in Jordan, which resulted in the deaths of 3 U.S. troops. The drone, mistaken for a returning U.S. aircraft, struck a living quarters at a military outpost, causing significant casualties. Following the attack, the U.S. retaliated with strikes against Iranian-backed militia sites in Iraq and Syria, indicating a heightened military tension in the region as Iranian forces ramp up their activities against U.S. personnel. The New York Times outlines the shifting power dynamics in Syria following the ousting of Bashar al-Assad by a rebel coalition. Ahmed al-Shara, the new rebel leader, is advocating for the lifting of sanctions to facilitate Syria's reconstruction, while Assad claims he was forced to flee by Russian forces amidst the chaos. The rebel coalition is rapidly gaining international recognition, with diplomatic engagements from various nations, signaling a potential shift in Syria's political landscape as the country grapples with the aftermath of a devastating civil war. South China Morning Post reports that an Israeli technical team has arrived in Doha, Qatar, to engage in crucial discussions with Qatari mediators regarding the unresolved aspects of a ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza. These talks are seen as a continuation of the efforts led by Egypt, Qatar, and the United States, which have been ongoing for over a year without significant progress. The focus of the current negotiations is to reconcile the differences between Israel and Hamas, particularly concerning Israel's military presence in Gaza. Despite previous setbacks, including a failed ceasefire proposal in mid-October, recent developments suggest a renewed urgency for a resolution, as Israeli airstrikes in Syria have resulted in civilian casualties, highlighting the broader regional tensions. Foreign policy delves into the implications of U.S. presidential transitions on global crises, using South Korea's recent political turmoil as a case study. The sudden declaration of martial law by the now-impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol raised alarms both domestically and internationally, prompting a cautious response from the Biden administration. The article speculates on how the situation might have unfolded differently under a Trump presidency, given his history of supporting authoritarian figures and his ambivalence toward democratic alliances. The potential for a second Trump term to foster a more authoritarian approach to governance raises concerns about the U.S.'s commitment to democracy and human rights on the global stage, particularly in light of ongoing conflicts involving Israel and its neighbors. The Independent highlights comments from Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, who claims that a hostage deal with Hamas is closer than ever. Katz's remarks, made during a closed-door meeting, were leaked, indicating optimism about the potential for an agreement that could facilitate the release of hostages held by Hamas. However, he also noted that an open-ended ceasefire, which Hamas desires, may not be part of the final deal due to opposition within Prime Minister Netanyahu's coalition. The backdrop of these negotiations includes the staggering toll of the ongoing conflict, with thousands of casualties on both sides, and renewed efforts by Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. to broker a lasting ceasefire, suggesting a complex interplay of military and diplomatic strategies in the region. CNN reports that President-elect Donald Trump made a series of false claims during a news conference at his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida. Among these, he inaccurately stated that California was still counting votes, despite the state having certified its election results. He also claimed that Europe does not use pesticides, which is misleading, as pesticides are indeed used in Europe, albeit with some restrictions. Trump insisted there were no wars during his presidency, ignoring numerous ongoing conflicts globally. He falsely asserted that his tax cuts were the largest in history, while expert analyses dispute this. Additionally, he misrepresented the impact of tariffs on China, claiming the U.S. reaped hundreds of billions, when in fact importers bear the costs, often passed on to consumers. Trump exaggerated the inflation rates during Biden's presidency, claiming unprecedented levels, while historical data shows otherwise. He repeated falsehoods about migrants being released from prisons globally, particularly from the Congo, which experts refute. Furthermore, he overstated the length of the border wall built during his administration and perpetuated the unfounded belief that the 2020 election was stolen from him, despite losing a legitimate election. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.